G'day everyone, today I'm on a mission to catch some small bait-sized yabbies for a friend of mine who's not very well.
Hey you!
You're watching Robbie Fishing. Now I've got a good mate, he's about the same age as me and he's currently battling cancer, and that really sucks. He's got enough energy to go fishing and he wants to go and wet a line, but he's asked me if I can catch him a few bait-sized yabbies. I tried last week and all I caught was monsters. I failed miserably, but all the yabbies that turned up were enormous. So I've come to this dam here where I've caught plenty of bait-sized yabbies in the past, and I've got 4 drop nets or hoop nets baited up with good O's dry dog food in bait bombs. I'm going to put them in and see if I can get some small yabbies for him. One of the reasons that I've chosen these nets over the pyramid nets or the open top lift nets is because the mesh is generally smaller, and as they cave in towards the centre of the net, the mesh gets smaller again, making it better to hold small yabbies. Although this one's got quite a few holes in it, so that might be a bit counterproductive. One of the other really good things about these drop nets is they don't take as long to catch yabbies. You can check them every 10 or 15 minutes, usually. The only time I'd ever really leave these in for a long time is if I was going away and doing something else. That was upside down, that won't work. Oh, look at that. There was 2. There's a little bait-sized yabby and this one here with no claws. I threw the net in upside down, so I pulled it out and there was already 2 yabbies in it. That's got to be a good sign, doesn't it? How freaky was that? Well, the signs are good. Net number 4 is in. The signs are very good. Now, when I finish catching these yabbies that I'm hopefully going to catch, when I'm finished here, I'm actually going fishing. So I am going to go and rig up my rods now and get everything ready. By that stage, it'll be time to come and check these nets. And I've got to, after seeing those 2 just caught in about 1 second, I've got a pretty good feeling. Righto, it's time to check them. It's been about 10 minutes. Actually, it's been 7 minutes since I put the last net in. So that'll be about 10 minutes since I put the first one in, I reckon. Righto, bait-sized yabbies, come at me. That's tangled and there's no yabbies in it. Well, if I don't catch any in the 10-minute check, I'll leave him in a bit longer next time. Ooh, this is concerning. This is where I got the 2, but maybe they were in the mud and I just scooped them up and my net was tangled. Oh yes, nothing. That was on a snag, that was. Nothing. Well, my mate might be using worms next week when he goes fishing. I might just leave him in a little bit longer this time. That was a letdown. After fluking 2, when I threw my net in upside down, I thought I'm going to catch heaps. And I caught none. Righto, time for round 2. It's been 19 minutes, nearly 20 minutes. If I don't get any this time, I'm going to be probably thinking that I'm wasting my time. There's one in there, beauty. It's a little bit bigger. He's a bait-sized yabby, so we'll do 1. Don't bite me finger. A little bit big for me, but he might be okay for my mate. He might like his yabbies a bit bigger than I do. Who knows? 1. That's a start. Definitely slower than I thought it would be, but slower than I thought it would be, but 1's better than none. What about this net? Yes, here we go. They're a bit big though. That one might be okay. That's a good bait-sized yabby. You know what? I'm going to throw a couple of these larger ones in. That one's probably a bit too large. I'll put him in for now, and I'll tell you why. Because when I'm finished here, I'm going fishing. So even though they're too big to use for bait, I can still kill the yabby, take the tail off, and just use the tail. So the whole idea of this is to try and catch a heap of small yabbies for my mate, but if I can get a couple of yabby tails or something to use when I go fishing after here, that'd be good. I'm actually going to Broken Creek, which is an absolute carp fest, so I wouldn't mind putting a yabby on one rod. And then might just thin out the carp a little bit, help separate the carp from the yellowbelly. Might also mean I catch nothing. Look at them all in this net. Now we're starting to get a few. Still a little bit large. That one's a nice one under there. That's a good size. That's probably a little bit too small, that one. I'm going to throw this larger one in because I want the tail over at Broken Creek. I'll put that one in for my mate. This one here can probably go back. Here's a nice little bait-sized yabby. Go getting a few now. Push the leaves out, put the net back. Things are looking up. Right on net number 4. Oh yes, full of yabbies. That one there's got no claws. His unarmed yabby can go back. Here's a couple of bait size ones. Oh look, 1, 2, 3, 4 bait sized yabbies. Basically, if they're too big to hold in your hand like that, because they hurt too much and they're probably too big to use as bait, they're good. They're good ones. I'll keep one more large one. Like I said, the large ones, I'm just going to use their tails for bait over at Broken Creek. Any more large ones now can just go back. I might just move this down a little bit, just to try a different sort of spot. That's about it. Right now, 10 minutes didn't work. The 10-minute soak wasn't long enough, but 20 minutes worked really well. Now I'm going to go and put a bit of grass in this water here. They're probably not going to be doing much fighting because most of them are small, but that will just allow them to climb up and get air if they want to get some air. Now the large ones, I quickly mentioned it a minute ago, if you want to use yabbies for bait but the yabbies you're catching are too big, you can kill the yabby, break it in half and just use the tail, and that will work very well. I've caught a lot of redfin on yabby tails. So when I leave here, I'm going to Broken Creek. So if I've got enough small yabbies that I can spare a couple of my mates for me, I might use a live yabby. If not, I've got these few big ones in here and I'll use a yabby tail. Broken Creek is just teeming with carp at the moment. And there has been a couple of yellowbelly caught over there, but not a lot. But it's been just an absolute carp fest. So if I've got one rod with worms, it'll probably get heaps of bites and I'll catch carp. But if I can put a yabby or a yabby tail on the other rod, it might just slow that one down and we'll call it the yabby, the yellowbelly rod. I'll have a carp rod and a yellowbelly rod. Anyway, 10:35. I'll come back and check those at 10:55. I'll grab some grass. This isn't actually grass, but these are dead everlasting bushes. Sticky everlasting, I think they're called. I break them all up and sprinkle them in there, and that'll just allow them to separate from each other and climb up and get some oxygen if they want some. I'll put it in the shade. Right, it's 10:55, it's been exactly 20 minutes. I think I've got 3 big ones and probably 6 or 7 little ones in there, so I've done alright. What have we got? They're both a little bit too big for bait, I think. Good cod bait, excellent cod bait. I'll put them back. Getting a few yabbies, but not the size that I'm after. I might move this net down the other end where I caught the most small ones before. Alright, net number 2. What about you? Yeah, what have we got here? 1, and it's a little bit on the large side. Might move that as well. So I might put one over there. I'll just put this one in here. Right, net number 3. Have you got any bait size yabbies in here? There was 2. One must have got out. Would have been. Well, there was definitely 2 in there. Anyway, a little bit big again. Getting the numbers, but not the size. Might move that one as well. I'm only going to move that one here. It wasn't just there. I'm literally moving it about 3 metres away. I'll just put it in there, right next to the bank. Now this one was moved. I moved this one after the... Nothing, not one. That's a bit odd. There was... maybe I need to move it back where it was originally, which was back this way, only about 2 or 3 metres. I'll just put it back out here where it was. I'll just lower this one down right in front of the reeds here, nice and close to the bank, and see how that goes. I caught, I don't know, half a dozen I suppose yabbies that check, but none, I didn't keep any, they were all too big. I've just walked right around the dam. I'm going to do a 2-minute impatient check before I leave them for 20 minutes. Oh look, the biggest one of the day. That's a huge big eater. That's funny. This net wouldn't have been in for 3 or 4 minutes. And I've caught this monster. Look at the size of it. I'll throw him back over that way. I just put the nets in. I walked around the dam and I thought before I go and sit down for 20 minutes or so, I might just check this one on the way back past. And I fluked a monster. Well, I wouldn't say I fluked a monster. Yeah, I just caught a high speed monster. I'll put that back down where it was. Now I'll give him 20 minutes. 11:04. I'll give him till 11:30 and then I'm going to pack off and head over to Broken Creek and go fishing. Right, it's 11:25. I was going to leave them till 10:30 then pull them out, but I'm going to give them one more soak, so I'll make this the second last run. Where are they? 1, 2, 3, 4. Righto, number one. This is the one that I moved in really close under these branches. There's one, but it's a bait size yabby, so that's good. It's a nice little bait size. Put that back in where it was, I reckon. Right, we've got two, but they're too big. Too biggers. How'd you get, mate? Come on, let go. There he goes. Too oversized. What happens if I throw it out a bit further? Right, this is in a new spot. Oh yes, it's got a few in it too. Way too big though. That's way oversized. Here's one for the pot, that one. This one's probably getting a bit big, I think. I'll throw him back. Oh well. Give it one last hurrah. Right, this is the one that caught that real high speed yabby before. We've got one. It's a once again, it's a little bit too big. Getting plenty of yabbies, but they're just a bit on the big side. Having trouble finding the little ones. I'll put it up there a bit further. See how that goes. Right, it's only been about 15 minutes, but I'm just dying to get over to Broken Creek and go fishing, so I'll pull these out now. Now, one of the really cool things about these red bait bombs, because they've got dry dog food in them, I can just leave the bait in them and I'll probably throw one or two of these nets in Broken Creek while I'm fishing anyway. Second chance draw to catch some bait size yabbies. Oh, what have we got here? A big one and a medium one. One's definitely too big. And the other one is probably too big. Look, I'm going to throw that one in. I'll give that one to my mate for a bait. It's probably a bit bigger than I'd like, but it will do. But this other one's no good. I'm going to roll back in, mate. Net number 2. I threw this one out a bit further this time. Alright, what have we got? Oh, we've got a nice little bait one. Probably a bit too small. From one extreme to the other. Too big, from too big to too small. That's the only one in the net. What about net number 3? Oh, there's some big kahunas in there. There's 4 in there, but they're all a bit too big. Might get a photo of them for my thumbnail. I've just taken a photo for my thumbnail. If I use the photo, it's going to be a bit odd. The video title is going to be about catching bait-sized yabbies, and in the thumbnail there's going to be all these really big ones. He might do. I might put him in the bucket. He's a bit on the large side, but I'm not getting a lot of those perfect sized yabbies. Most of them are too big, some are too small. Right, last net. Come on, little yabbies. Whoops. There was one in there, but I catapulted it out. It was too big anyway. I lifted it out fast. When you make your nets really shallow like this, you've got to pull them out fast. I pulled it out and went bang into that stump, and he went flying out the net. Well folks, that was semi-successful. The goal was to come and catch some small bait-sized yabbies, and I did just that. I didn't catch as many as I sort of hoped I might, but I still got 10 or a dozen bait-sized yabbies, and I can give them to my mate and he can go and do a bit of fishing. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video.